and welcome back to my channel. It's Sarah from God's Healing Hand and Homestead, and I am so excited that you are joining me today as we can some chicken breast and some dry beans. Canning is one of my favorite ways to stretch our food and stretch the dollar, as I often love to shop the sales and get everything at a discount. Canning is one of my favorite ways to preserve food, and it has really paid off, especially on those cold and dry days or even the busy days and you just need a quick meal to fix up. Today I was able to score chicken breast at 99 cents a pound, so we got 30 pounds of it. This is bone in, so it took a long time for me to debone all of this. Now, if you get your chicken boneless, which I highly recommend, then the processing time and preparation time will be a lot less than if you got the bone in. For me, we didn't know that it was bone in, so we got what we could, and I will be using all of the bones for bone broth when it is time for me to cook that down and can some more bone broth when I get the opportunity. So nothing here will go to waste. I do have to put a disclaimer out there that this method of canning is not USDA approved, as we are water bath canning this. This is the way that generations past have canned their food to preserve it, as well as current generations, and it is done around the world this way. So right now I am just cleaning off the chicken. I am separating the breast from the tenderloin, and we did end up eating all of the tenderloins for like some chicken tenders, which were delicious, and then I saved all of the breast for the canning process, and then all of the bones will go into the freezer until I am ready to can and make some more bone broth. In order to get started, you will need a few basic tools that I'm sure you have around the house or you're able to get from a thrift store. You will need a large pot that is deep enough to cover your jars with at least 1 inch of water. You'll need jars as well as lids and rings and jar grabbers so that way you can safely remove your jars from the hot water. And then you'll also need a clean towel to place your jars on after the processing time has completed. You will want to start out with clean jars and equipment. This is essential because we don't want to introduce any new bacteria or dirt or anything like that into our food, especially since chicken is a more expensive item. You want to take great precautions in canning that. Careful. To clean them, you can just do soap and water and then place those jars in the oven at 170 degrees. Let the oven preheat with the jars in them. Or you can just stick them in the dishwasher and run it through a cycle. Some people do this step, some people don't. For this time around, I did not because I used very hot water to wash my jars. Next, you are going to want to wipe your rims clean. So you can do this by just doing water, but I would highly recommend taking some white distilled vinegar, wetting it on a cloth, and wiping your rims with that. And then I add in a half a teaspoon of salt into pints and then a full teaspoon of salt into quarts. I did not add any water to these jars because the chicken does make its own broth. Make sure to fill up your jars to a 1 inch headspace, and then you can add your salt on top. That's how I did it. Add your lids, and then you're going to add on your rings, and you're going to tighten them fingertip tight. I do a little bit tighter than fingertip tight, but I don't crank it down to where you have to like force it open. We will also be canning dry beans. This is an inexpensive item, and it takes a long time for them to soak, so having these dry beans ready to go makes it super easy and ready to use. Now I can these in pint jars, and in pint jars you're going to do a half a cup of Great Northern beans or kidney beans with a half a teaspoon of salt, and fill up the jar with water to a 1-inch headspace. I will include a chart for the different variations of beans that there are and how much dry beans to put in each type of different jars. Because they grow and take up a lot of space in the jar, you don't want those overfilling and ruining the canning process. Taking a quick break to share something that I am so passionate about, God's Healing Hand, which is an all-natural skincare and wellness business that is so close to my heart. I personally formulate and create every product with love and intention. I design it to make sure your skin can feel its absolute best. From our gentle homemade soaps, perfect even for your baby's delicate skin, to deeply nourishing moisturizers for the driest of days, each product is crafted to bring out your skin's natural glow. I use these products all day, especially our grass-fed tallow balms. Known for soothing and healing a variety of skin concerns, they've been a lifesaver during my pregnancy and for my baby's sensitive skin. With the dry weather and winter weather, it is so easy for that skin to just get painful, and the tallow balms are definitely a necessity for this time of year. All of the ingredients are clean, natural, and eco-certified, and as a pregnant mama with a little one, it gives me peace of mind knowing exactly what's going on our skin and that it's absorbing only the good stuff. You can find all of my products at godshealinghand.com, and in each of the product descriptions is a link to purchase it from muskegon-market.com. They right now are helping me fulfill all online orders as my pregnancy is in full swing and it's difficult to do much of anything. Thank you so much for supporting God's Healing Hand. It's skincare that I make, and all of the ingredients are listed, and I am very transparent with every single product and every single ingredient that is put into these products. An important thing to note when you are adding your jars to your canner is to ensure that the temperatures are all the same or similar. So because I am canning chicken and beans, everything should be room temperature. The jars, the water that goes into the canner, as well as the product inside of the jars. This will help prevent any kind of temperature shock to your jars and prevent breakage, which is something that you want to avoid, especially canning anything, because you're putting a lot of work into this. And having any kind of lost product because of breakage or anything like that is really sad. I'm going to fill up my canner all the way, and I'm going to make sure that I have at least 1 inch of water above my jars. I'm going to let this come to a rolling boil, and once it's at a rolling boil, I will can it for 3 hours. I will list a picture right here, and that will show the adjustment times that you need to do based on your elevation. Once your canning time is done, remove the jars and let them sit for about 12 to 24 hours. After that amount of time, you can remove your rings and test your seals to make sure that everything's sealed properly and you're not going to have any kind of spoilage. After that amount of time, you can remove your rings and test your seals. To test them, you can do the tap test like I'm doing here, or lift it up by the lid. Not the jar, the lid. Just be careful, have a hand under it just in case that jar didn't seal, because then you'll have a mess to clean up. So I will remove all of the lids. I'm going to tap each jar And what you're looking for is a difference in sound. So if you have a jar that sounds a little bit different, test the seal and check it out. After everything is tested, make sure to label your jars with the product and the date and whatever else you would like to label that with. You can use a marker like I am. Some people like to do a sticker or print out specific labels and have those on their jars. I just keep it simple and just write it out with a permanent marker. Canned chicken and beans are honestly a lifesaver. I love to can chicken and beans like this because it means ready to prep meals, and it just makes it so easy just to dump and go. So whether that be a soup or a casserole or whatever I am cooking, it does help save time. And then we're also freezing some of the chicken breasts because some recipes that I do love require fresh chicken, so we are freezing that. And we are using our food saver for this. So my husband is the king of food saving with the vacuum sealer and freezing it all. I do the canning. It's an even balance. Because chicken creates a lot of juice, my husband is drying out the chicken before he puts them in the bag, so that way when it goes to vacuum seal, there won't be any excess juices that are going into the vacuum sealer. If you do not dry your chicken beforehand, make sure to add a dry paper towel to your vacuum seal bag so that way something is absorbing that excess juice and you are not destroying your vacuum sealer by inserting juices into that. We froze them in 4s because that is just how much we eat, and we were able to get 4 bags of 4, so we had 16 chicken breasts left. And I also got 4 quarts of chicken and 2 pints of canned chicken. Not bad for $30 worth of chicken breasts. Label the chicken bags and stick it in the freezer. The very last thing that I love to do is to write in my canning journal. This is a great idea to keep track of your recipes and any important notes on how you can a specific item. So at the top, I am adding in how I can chicken, how long, how much salt, water, any kind of instructions that will help you next time you go to can it. And then at the halfway point or whatever, I will add in the date and where I got meat from, as well as how much and what the price was and how many quarts, pints, half pints, whatever I got out of that amount of food. So at the bottom, I will put in the date that I got 30 pounds of bone-in chicken breast, and that I got 4 quarts and 2 pints of chicken and got 16 breasts of frozen chicken in the freezer. And then that can kind of help next time you go to can, so you know how much more you should get or how much less you should get based on how many jars that you wish you could have had or didn't have. And then I also add in little notes, and I keep it pretty simple. It's really fun to go back and see how much an item cost and how many jars you were able to get out of that and all of that fun stuff. Thank you for spending time with me today. I hope this video inspires you to start your own canning journey. I hope this inspires you to take advantage of sales and preserve all of the food that you're able to get. Everything that I used in this canning day, I will have listed below in the description, along with links on where you can get that item. Canning is a wonderful way to save money and preserve food and to help with busy days, busy seasons, or exhausted days and exhausted seasons. If this video inspired you, please hit that like, subscribe, and comment below on your favorite thing to can. Happy canning and God bless.